before I trace on the iPad, I would like to show you very quickly about how you can use the debugger and breakpoints to debug library objects, in this case ArrayList, very quickly. All right, so let's say we want to debug about the JUnit test that we just defined. Let's go back to test birthday book over here, and then let me put the breakpoint at the first line of the test method over here. All right, and then we're gonna launch the debugger, and let's now switch to the debug perspective. And you can see here the first line, right? So now we are now right before we create the instance of BB of type BirthdayBook version 1 using the ArrayList. Let's now simply step over, and now you can see that if you go back to the variables panel over here, you'll see that here we got BB over here. That's a BirthdayBook v1, and that's simply just its address. Okay, and if you expand the object structure over here, you can see that internally we got imp over here. You can see the imp is simply an array list, and very nicely, very usefully, Java debugger will Eclipse debugger will actually show to you the visualization of the array list. I'll try to also visualize more about the process of changing this array list, but at least you can simply step over one by one and see exactly how things are changed internally. Okay, let's go a little bit further just to show you the point. So now if I say, so now let's focus on the imp, the attributes over here, and somehow it's shown to be private, right? Let's now step over. Okay, so now we're gonna create BD1, BD2, BD3. All right, you can see now at the moment we still got empty birthday book, but now as soon as I say step over here, you can see now this one shows to you in the array list. We actually store some objects of type birthday book entry, right? However, you can also expand the imp over here. You can see that's the first birthday book entry objects over here. If you expand it further, you can see that's the birthday. Let me just expand this a little bit further here. You can see the birthday is the name Alan. You can see that's Alan we just added in. And also BD1, which is May 21st. If you expand the birthday here, it's May 21st, right? Hopefully you see the point over here. However, if you only click on the array list directly, it's only going to show you the address of the birthday book entry objects, not really its contents. If you want to explore its contents, you will have to actually expand the object structure like what I did over here. All right, so hopefully you got an idea. I would recommend that you actually try to step over one by one. Each line over here, it's not that many lines you have to step over, and then pay attention to how the structure of the private attributes of type array list over here would change, right? I wouldn't really go line by line together with you. It might be too time consuming. I still want to do the changes all together on the iPad. Okay, and one thing very important to show to you. Let me just now, let's say I'm now currently right before executing the add birthday over here. If I say step into, I will step into the add birthday method over here in the birthday book. If I say step into, okay, you can see now, right now, I actually got this.imp.add, right? So you can see imp is the array list. So that's the add birthday method we defined before. However, at this point, you may not be able to actually step into any further because that would involve going over the implementation of the add, which is supposed to be hidden from you because add comes from the library class ArrayList. So at this point, you shouldn't actually do any step into anymore. Okay, so that's something to remind you. So what you should really do is, let me say step out over here. What you should do is, you should if you try to debug the library objects, you should really stay at the top level over here. Whenever you're executing some method call from the library method, in that case, you shouldn't really, you should not actually go any further because it wouldn't show to you. Okay, it's supposed to be hidden. All right, so that's about what I want to mention to you about using debugger. So everything you learn about breakpoints and debugger still applies. So don't really abandon them, right? They are very useful skills for you to actually keep. All right, so let me now switch to iPad over here. So I'm going to just show to you, visualize very quickly about how the array list internally in the birthday book is being manipulated. So that's what I would like to show to you. I only show the JUnit test method entirely over here. I didn't show you the individual method that we did for birthday book version 1. But if I need it, I will actually go back to the code to show to you. Okay, let me just get the code ready over here. So it will be birthday book version 1. Let me close the test And then let me switch back to the Java perspective, right? In case I need it, I'll switch back, okay? All right, let's now trace line by line. So my main goal really is to visualize exactly how the object structure should look like. So you will have a very better idea about how you manipulate the library objects. All right, so let's now start with the first line over here. So the first line, so we say birthday v1 bb is assigned to new birthday book v1, right? So we are invoking the constructor. Let's remind us about what the constructor is supposed to do for the birthday book version number 1. If you look at the code, it's only supposed to create an empty attribute array list, right? So now how do we visualize that? So let me draw over here. So we will have bb. So bb is going to be a variable, object variable. It will store the address of some objects. Let me just go a little bit to the left. So bb stores the address of some objects of type birthday book version 1. Okay, so here I'm just going to say you can see birthday book version 1, right? We'll get birthday book version 2 later. So it's going to be birthday book and then version 1. Okay, so I just wouldn't write it completely. And then that one there only got one private attributes. When we visualize it, we can visualize the private attributes. So this will be imp. And then initially, it's simply going to point to the start of an empty list. So I'll just say vertical bar over here, right? So basically, that's the line about initializing a birthday book version 1, birthday book using ArrayList. Let's go on. And then, so now if I say bb.getSize over here. So if I say bb.getSize, and now let's remind ourselves, if you go back to getSize over here, you simply return imp.size. So in this case, you will actually do bb.imp, which points to this particular array list. What's its size? It's simply 0, right? So it makes sense. All right, so so we know that it's simply just going to give you 0 because the list right now is simply empty. Let's now try to create the 3 birthday objects over here. Let me use green. So we got BD1, so we got BD2, and also we got BD3, right? Let's create them very quickly, okay? And every birthday, if you recall, only store 2 attributes about the month and also day. So we got BD1. Let's say BD1 pointing to a birthday objects. Okay, I'll just say BD, standing for birthday. And then we got actually the month and also the day. So I'll say M for month and also D for day. Right? So let me just copy this object here for 3 times. We need 3 times. So and we got another one. Oh, sorry. Did I copy that successfully? Okay, let me copy that once more. Okay, so we got the second one, and also we need a third one as well. Okay, I need to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, smaller birthday over here. Okay, so one more. Okay, and this one, can you make it a little bit just smaller? Okay, you get the idea. Okay, so we got BD1, BD2, and also BD3, right? So it's important to see the different variable names. So BD1, BD2, and BD3. BD1, 5 and 21. May 21st. BD2, August 11. August 11. And then BD3, October 15. So that'll be October and also 15, right? We haven't added them just yet into the birthday book, not yet. All right, so now let's take a look at how we are going to create. We're going to add the birthday record into the birthday book. Let me make some space because I just need to also create a birthday book entry object as well. Let me just put it here. Okay. Right. So now it's really important for you to see exactly how to execute add birthday over here. Right. Add birthday here. Add birthday. So we got 1, 2, 3, and also 4. We got 4 invocations over here. Let's remind ourselves how the add birthday is implemented. Let's go back. If you go back to add birthday here, right, you can see that one there. is going to actually add something into the implementation array list, right? So we're going to add something into this particular list. However, we don't really just add BD1, BD2, and also BD3 directly into the birthday into the array list. We don't do that. What we need to do instead, because remember that the type, every element's type in the array list is actually a birthday book entry, not birthday. So we should really create some birthday book entry objects containing the name and also the birthday before we can add it into the array list. So that's the subtlety you have to pay attention to. Right, let's go back here, and then so you can see we should really first of all create a new birthday book entry objects over here, which will contain the name and also the birthday, right? So the birthday object we already got, but for the name, we'll see in the actual arguments, right? So hopefully you can see that I really want to point this to you, okay? It may not be as trivial as you might think. Okay, so now let me create the birthday book entry. So we need to create 4 of them in total. Right, you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me just now do the following. Let me just create the very first one over here. The first one here. And let me say birthday book entry, BBE. Okay, and then the birthday book entry, let's remind ourselves. If you go back to your package explorer to week number 12, source and model, if you go to birthday book entry, so that one there has 2 attributes, the name and also the birthday, right? Let's now go back over here, and then it's got a name and also the birthday. So that one has the name, I will say N, and also the birthday, I will say BD, right? I'm going to eventually create 4 of them, right? Eventually you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 eventually. So why don't I simply just copy this 4 times, and then we'll see what's going to happen. 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. I think I can make a little bit more space to make it more evenly distributed. 1, 2, and 3, 4, right? That's kind of the diagram visualization technique I hope you have already picked up, from this course, given that we have done this so many times. All right, so now let's see the first one. Here, when we say add birthday, and then Alan, and then BD1, right? This line here. You can see Alan, and then BD1. So how do we visualize this one? So that one there is actually going to create a birthday book entry objects. So the name is going to be Alan. And then the birthday is going to be BD1. So that means the birthday here is going to point to BD1. And then we're going to add this particular objects into the array list, right? Remember, the add birthday here is once we create the objects, once we have filled in the name and also birthday, we're going to add it into the imp, right? That's what we're going to do. So now what's going to happen is we're actually going to add it. So now you can see we're going to grow the size over here of the array list, and that one there is going to point to the first birthday book entry, right? So what we have finished is just this particular addition. All right, so now I'm going to execute a little bit faster for my drawing. And for the second one, it's going to be Mark and BD2. So the name will be Mark. And then it's now going to point to BD2, right? And then we're going to add this particular birthday book entry objects into the array list, right? The second one is going to be pointing to this particular objects. And then the third one. The third one is going to be Tom and also BD2. So the name will be Tom, and the BD will be also BD2, right? You can see here the BD2 are the same. You can see here BD2, they are the same. So that one will also be pointing to BD2. And then we're going to add this particular birthday book entry objects to the array list. You can see dynamically the list is really growing for the imp over here, right? Okay, finally, let's now see. We're going to add this Jim and also BD3. So what's going to happen is, so the name will be Jim. Jim, and also that one will be pointing to BD3. And then we're going to add the fourth birthday book entry into the birthday book. Right, so after these 4 lines over here, so we have added basically 1, 2, 3, 4 birthday book entry objects, and also we have added each one of them into the internal array list of the birthday book objects. That's really important for you to know how this has happened. Okay, so now if we try to inquire about the size of the birthday book, bb.getSize, so now we got 4, right? Because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 for this particular array list. All right, let's now go a little bit further. And let's say we now want to inquire about some birthday of some person. So when we say bb.getBirthday Jim, so now this one will be rather easy. So if you remember what a getBirthday is about, right? If you go back here, let's go to getBirthday. GetBirthday basically is going to find out where the name is, find out the index, and then just go to the corresponding position of the array list, right? That's what we said. So now what will be the index for Jim? You can see Jim is actually referring to this particular birthday book entry class, right? You can see the Jim over here is matching, right? Let me now try to connect that. So this Jim over here is really matching this particular Jim over here. So that's why the index will just be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So it will be index 3. So what we'll do is we're gonna return the birthday objects for this particular index 3 objects in the array list. That's what's gonna happen. Okay. So let me just tell you that. So for this, this is going to return this particular birthday objects over here. That's what's going to happen. All right, so that object there, you can see if we try to do some assertion here. So so Jim birthday is basically just going to be assigned to the address of this particular objects. So that means Jim birthday. So Jim birthday is now pointing to this particular object over here, and you can see that Jim birthday.getMonth will just be 10 over here. Get date will just be 15, right? As we can predict. And also, what about if you want to say bb.getBirthday Jeremy? Because you can see none of the names over here, Alan, Mark, Tom, and also Jim, none of them actually matches Jeremy. So that means the index is just going to be -1, which means if you look back to the method declaration definition, we're going to return -1, right? If you recall that, if the index is actually -1, so we're going to bypass this particular indexing into the array list. So we're just going to return result with the default value null over here. Okay. All right, we are halfway. Let's now try to see what's going to happen here. So we're going to add another birthday book entry over here for Suyang, and also for this particular birthday, right? I just need to make some space for myself, I think. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble. Let's now take a look over here. Do I still have, let's see this. I think I might just be able to, give me one moment, let me give it a try. I might just be able to put this title over here. Let's say I put it here. And then do I still have that particular copy? Let's say this is the birthday book entry we want to add, right? So now we're going to create, let me highlight it using the consistent color. So we're going to add birthday over here, right? And then it's now going to be Suyang and also new birthday, right? So what's going to happen is for this particular birthday book entry, the name will be Suyang. And then the new birthday object is anonymous objects. So it's going to point to some birthday objects over here. And let me use a green color here. And that one there is going to be birthday. It's a little bit tedious, but I think it's really complete. I think it's really important for you to understand how things work together. So now the month and also day, so you can see it's 5 and 21, right? 5 and 21. And notice that even though we already got another birthday object here, it's also 5 and 21. So they are simply just different objects. However, when we do the comparison or when we do the searches, as I mentioned earlier, we're only comparing individually month versus day. That's why we compare month by month and day by day. So even though they are different objects, that's actually okay, right? Just remember that. All right, so now we're just going to add this particular new birthday book entry here. So now I'm just going to grow the size by another one over here. And now this will be index, I'll put 4 over here. Okay, index 4. and then that one there is actually going to point to this new birthday book entry, right? I'm just being a little bit flexible over here, but for the indices, you can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then if you now get a size, it will just be 5, right? It's not not very surprising. So it will just be 5. Let's now see how we can remove the birthday. Okay, and when I say I want to remove the birthday over here for Alan, so what I need to do is I need to find out where Alan is, right? If you go back to the code, if you see the remove birthday over here, we want to find out where the name is, in this case Alan, and then we'll call the remove method on the array list. That's what we'll do. And what's the index for Alan? For Alan over here. Let me just highlight this method over here. So we want to remove birthday over here. So Alan is actually just at index 0, right? You can see index 0 is pointing to this particular birthday book entry objects with Alan. So we know that it should be index 0. So what this will do, let me just write a little bit detail over here. What this will boil down executing will be, you'll simply say bb dot imp dot remove, and then we know that Alan is actually at index 0 over here. Remove at index 0. So now how do we do it, right? If you refer to the relevant your lecture or the extra tutorial video, it shows to you the basic manipulation for the array list. I'm going to let you study that, but for now, the way to think about this will be, if I want to remove this particular one, I'll simply get rid of it. You can think about, we're just going to get rid of this particular index over here, and consequently, let me use a different color. Let me use purple. I'm going to remove this particular slot over here, and then the index will just be, all the indices will be renamed. So this will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, and this will be 3. And of course, you can think about the pointer over here is simply just going to point to the beginning of, you can think about, it's actually going to point to the beginning of the list over here, right? It's a little bit of, it's not really messy, but it's just the way it is. You can think about here. So now this is the current array list that we're talking about right here, okay? Let's now see what will be the size of the birthday book. Well, we got 0, 1, 2, and 3. So the size should be 4, right? That's not a problem, right? So the size should just be 4 over here. And now if you want to get a birthday for Alan, you will simply return null, because now if you actually go over every index over here, none of the names actually will match Alan. So you will simply just get null, right? For this one, I think we have done something very similar already. All right, let's now try to do the remaining part very quickly. Let's not just do the remind. How do we do the remind over here? Let's now, again, let's say bb.remind and then new birthday August 11th. Let me try to do a little bit higher level, right? So the remind, let's remind ourselves about how we implement the remind. So the remind over here is actually going to create some temporary array, and then the temporary array is actually going to store all the birthday, all the names whose birthday will actually match the birthday. And then we are going to create another array result to be returned, right? So the detail for the coding, I'll let you study that. That's something we have done. We have done previously, also in the written notes. Let me just show you quickly about the intermediate array. I'll show you just for one. So let me just try to use maybe purple for this illustration here. So let me use purple, right? Remind. So what we'll do is we're going to go over all the birthday book entries one by one. And then you can see, so now we only got 4 birthday book entries left. We got 1 over here. So this is the one for Mark. And we got 2 over here. And also we got 3 over here. And then we got 4 over here. So these are the 4 birthday book entries that we got left, right? So these are the 4. And which one should we actually collect, right? You can think about the temporary array that we created. So the temporary array. And then it was created as the maximum size corresponding to the current size of the array list, which is 4. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. However, which birthday book entries should be matching will have the matching birthday, right? So here, since we're trying to do August 11 over here, so which one do we have August 11? We got August 11 actually for August 11, you can see this is the birthday. So which entry do we have matching birthday? We got actually for Mark and also for Tom. Okay, hopefully you can see that. So that means this temporary array is actually going to point to, you can see it's actually a sign. This imp.get I and then .get name, right? So we're going to assign the string objects. So you can think about the I over here is about the matching index. So which index do we have? So we got index 1, which is referring to Tom, and also we got index 0, which is referring to Mark. Both of them actually got the matching birthday. So we're going to, you can think about the temp is actually, okay, let me just try to be faithful to my coding. You can think about number 1 is actually going to point to Mark over here. So that's one of the string. And also it's going to point to Tom as well. And the other slots, they're simply just null, right? And at the moment, the count variable is actually simply equal to 2, right? Remember, there was also a local counter over here. That will simply just be 2, right? So that means eventually we want to return another array, which will be the result. Let me do that quickly. So eventually, we're just going to have another array result, and that one there is simply going to be of size corresponding to the count, which is 2. So we got 0 and 1 over here, and that array is actually going to point to Mark, and also is now going to point to also Tom, right? Yeah, it's getting a little bit sophisticated, but that's really what's happening at the runtime under this behind the scene. So let me just conclude very quickly, and then we are done for this part. So you can see what we end up having to return for this reminders one would just be this particular result, right? You can see eventually reminds 1. Reminds 1. Reminds 1 is really pointing to this particular return array, right? So we are returning reminds 1, and then that one there is actually going to point to Mark, and also going to point to, and also Tom, who actually got matching birthday, August 11. That's what we're going to get, right? It's a quick exercise, meant to exercise for us quickly, right? And also you can do that precisely yourself. When we try to remind, that's for November 13th. What's going to happen is, you can see none of the birthday actually will have the matching record for November 13th, right? You can see here, August 11 does not match. October 15 does not match. May 21st also does not match. So eventually, what we will get is, we'll simply just return some empty array for the reminder list, right? So that's something I can let you actually try to do. All right, so that's quite a bit of tracing that's required over here. However, I would say it's quite important for you to really understand what's going on. It's actually quite important, right? Let me just get this title back. Okay, let's see this. All right, that's about it. You got actually, I show you the tracing for both the Eclipse debugger and also on the paper. So try to do both of them actually by yourself. So it will be easier for you to do like a more complicated application later.